your ability to learn things quickly is important, but the most crucial skill that people don't know is your ability to unlearn. That is one thing that people should be able, even in life, your ability to learn, everyone can learn, but not many people are willing to unlearn and learn new stuff.
Wow.
Mental health is it's not a destination. Don't chase the destination. It's a journey, and it's quite an easy journey once you accept the journey that you're not going anywhere. It's a journey you'll walk with all your life. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like riding a bike, If you pedal, no matter slowly or fast, you'll keep moving. But the moment you stop pedaling, the bike falls.
People ask me where I get all my energy from. From the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god. And you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshokbe Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adeshokbe Live, the Afrobeats podcast, live in Kenya, Nairobi to be exact. Of course, this is the platform that gives opportunities and promotes our people, so we enjoy the subscriptions, the likes, the comments. Please, let's keep those numbers going up. The bigger our platform gets, the better we're in position to promote our own people and our culture without waiting for others to do it. As always, make sure you subscribe right now. This is supported by the Energy God Energy Drink. Drink and stay energized. This is for us, by us. Go to energygod.com. Iconic Distro. For all information about music distribution, content distribution, visit iconicdistro.com. When I knew I was coming to Nairobi, Kenya, for an event and just connecting with people, I had a few people in mind that I had to speak to them. Because number one, they were impactful. Number two, I was a fan of them. And number three, I just wanted to get inside their brains and find out how they became who they are.
There's
and my next guest is no other than the incredible Roman chef, Dennis Ombachi. My brother.
Thank you.
Listen, thank you very much for taking time out to come out here.
Welcome to Kenya.
Listen, I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be here, and the people that I've met along this way have been nothing but impactful to me, and that was why it was important to have this conversation with you. What everybody in the world knows is the Roman chef, the man on social media who makes mouth-watering delicacies that we all hope we could smash the computer and just grab the taste out of, but we couldn't. But before then, was an athlete.
Yeah. The better part of my life. Actually, what defines my life is my life as a sportsman. Many people know me for my cooking, but sports defines my life.
Sports. Let's talk about the sports. How did that start for you?
Sports for me. It started way back, I think, I was in high school. I was 14, 16 there. The sport is rugby. I don't think it's quite popular in Nigeria. We played with Nigeria.
No, it's not. But my first contact with rugby is actually going to the after parties of the rugby sevens with the Kenyans.
Exactly, yeah. Rugby it's more of a lifestyle sport, yeah. So I think it was in high school, so I got expelled from my first high school. So when I joined got expelled in the second high school, and then now I joined my third high school, and then the principal, I got suspended. So when I came back from my first suspension, that was 2 weeks. I was 2 weeks new in school, and then the principal was like, you'll need something to keep you a bit occupied. Maybe have you ever tried sports? I was like, yeah, I tried football. I sucked. I've tried a bit of rugby. I was a bit lazy. I was not committed into it. And then apparently now the school principal was the coach for the rugby team. So he was like, why don't you come and try rugby? So he took me like sort of his son. So it was, and that's how I joined rugby. I started to love it. I think the year that I joined, now the next year when I was it Form 3 or Form 4? It was the first time we qualified for the nationals, and then I actually realized that I really don't like the sport that much. I loved sports, but I didn't like rugby that much. But it was serving a purpose. It was keeping me grounded, and it turned out I was good at it. So yeah, so for me I was like, very good. Anything I put my mind into it, I can be able to do. So that's how my journey in sports started, and then I finished high school. So I left high school. I came to Nairobi. That was around 2008, 2009. And then again, I was waiting to join university, so I have nothing to do. I'm like, okay, I'm broke. I can't ask for pocket money anymore. I'm 18, almost 18. And then my parents, I didn't come from that much of a privileged background. So, yeah, we were a bit struggling. So I was like, I need something to make ends meet. What skills do I have? I was like, rugby. So let me now try and pursue rugby away from school. So the main reason for me to join rugby, and I never lied to anyone. I was like, oh, it's passion, of course, passion is there and everything. But for me, it was just to run away out of poverty. Yeah, to feed myself, my escape out of poverty. I was like, if in high school I managed to stand out and I didn't put a lot of effort. I worked hard, but I didn't put a lot of effort. What if I really make it my lifetime goal, to try and be one of the best rugby players around? Yeah. So that's how my journey started. Well, I was still an 18-year-old boy. So for me, sports was all about escaping poverty. Yeah, and the journey was a beautiful one. Played the Commonwealth Games, Olympics, Rugby World Cup. Yeah, played in Russia, played all over the world. So for me, rugby served its purpose in my life. And that's why I think approaching COVID, I was also starting to get a bit delusional. Like, okay, the money was there. When I joined, the money was good. But approaching COVID now, I had a young family, I had a kid. And then in my mind, I was like, okay, now the money from sports in Kenya, in Africa, in general, unless you're a standout, you're like the Mohamed Salahs, the JJ Okochas, you don't make much.
No, you don't make much.
So I was like, I need something that can sustain my family. So that is when I started now to sort of walk away from the sports slowly as I transition and try to think of what else I can do in my life. Yeah.
You spoke about, you growing up as a young kid, in secondary school, getting in trouble, suspended, and then eventually coming into Nairobi because of the struggles from back home, couldn't afford that. Let's talk about where you were born and raised and what it was like.
I was born and raised in Nandi Hills. It's in the Rift Valley. Life was not that bad when I was born because my dad had a job, my mom was a teacher. But then there was some issues here and there, some tribal clashes, election, African election, tribalism.
Disrupts everything.
Yeah, so we happened to be on the wrong tribe, so we were kicked out. My dad was forced to resign. So we were jobless. My mom was a primary school teacher. Actually, that point in time, my mom also used to sell second-hand clothes. But now, since we were kicked away from where I was born, ideally, so we had to look for other means of survival. So my mom, I think they moved somewhere to Kiambu, but we were always moving, trying to settle down. So it reached a point where, they were still moving. I had finished school. We have 5 of us, 5 siblings. I'm the firstborn and then 4 sisters. Wow. So they sent me to my relatives to stay with my relatives. My dad was also staying with maybe the uncles. My mom was somewhere. Like
the family was separated.
Yeah, the family was just separated. And then you know how living with relatives is.
Yes.
It's not the best of experiences. Yes. So for me, it was always about I have to make it and I have to try and bring the family back together, get land, build them a house. Like that for me, when I started playing rugby, that was my mission. As much as I grew to love the sport, the more I played into it, the more friends I made in rugby, the more values I picked from the sport, I grew to love it. So I do love the sport, so that's not to say the least. I love it to death.
But it was an end to it.
It was a means to an end, And yeah, I think I achieved it. We got to the Olympics. I think my first paycheck from the Olympics, my peers were buying cars and everything. I just built my mom and my dad a house. Yeah, and I was like, at least half of my mission here in Earth is done. So for me, sports has given me everything exposed, even the cooking now, all inspiration was all from from sports and the people I met along the way, the values and everything, travel, through sports is when I was able
Exposure.
exposure. In a single year, you visit almost 18 countries. Like right now, I'm seated here. Yes, I'm earning, but there's no way using my money I'll be able to travel to 18 countries
Facts.
in 1 year.
Yeah.
So sports, I think I squeezed a lot from sports. The only regret maybe I have from sports is I never brought my parents to see a single game. That's everyone asks me what's your regrets from your career. That's my only regret.
Wow.
Yeah, but then I was so preoccupied on my goals.
Which was
and then I was
understandable.
also sucked into the culture of sports. When you're in sports, it's all about having fun. You're a local celebrity.
I was going to ask you, how did you, coming from where you were born and raised, and then this young teenager that decided to choose sports as his future, and then you, of course, you become a local celebrity. Then fame, women, alcohol, the fun lifestyle. How did you manage that as a young man?
Managing is another statement. I don't think I managed it. I think I just survived because it was a crazy ride. Come to think of it, the things we used to do like while we were still young without a family. If I do it now, I don't think my family.
The risks that you used to take.
It's too much. It's states the importance, when you're young is when you get to do these things. Because for now I'm like, okay, go out, okay. You used to party
Knockout.
here in Nairobi. You black out and then you wake up tomorrow. You expect, I'll wake up. I'm in Nairobi, but apparently
now the baby wakes
you're
you
in
up at 7
Mombasa.
o'clock.
We woke up in Mombasa. We don't know how we went, took a bus. We woke up in Mombasa. We don't have shoes. We don't have tops. We're just roaming around, and then I'm like, oh. But we are young anyway, that time regret is only lasts for 5 minutes. Now try something like the regret will follow you for the 30 years. 30 years.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned the cooking, which by far is how the world came in contact with the Roman chef. Mm-hmm. From the first video I saw a professional chef. But we all know, especially with cooking, it starts from somewhere. Yeah. How did cooking start and where did it start for you?
My journey to cooking, apart from, the same
survival
explanation, survival and what everyone will tell you, my mom. Of course, my mom is my first celebrity chef, but she inspired me. But what really inspired the creativity in me is sports. Through all the travels, you get to meet different people, different cultures. You go to different countries, you get to taste different foods. That's when you start asking yourself, by the way, life doesn't revolve around my village. There's a lot of foods outside here that I can try. There are lots of cultures that maybe if I mix with ours or just bring it on as it is, it's going to be something interesting. So I used to come back home. That time we used to train, and life was a sportsman. You wake up at around 4 by maybe noon. Your day is done unless you have training in the evening. So you have this period. You're supposed to rest during the day, almost 4 hours that you have nothing to do. So I just used to watch YouTube videos. Gordon Ramsay is the person who's inspired like my cooking journey. And then I used to try out a few things here and there, and the results were pretty terrible. Like the first few years, I think the people who were eating were just,
they just loved you.
Yeah, they just loved me. They were just supporting me. They were eating because of the support. They're like, okay, this brother has spent 2 hours. We just can't tell him the food is shit. But once they leave, I ask myself, because there's a time, I deleted a lot of those photos on Instagram, and I wish I didn't. I left a few down there. So I usually go back, I am like, wow, when I made this, I thought this was a 5-star dish, but looking at it, I had no business cooking fish and chicken and potatoes in one. Like, it was chaos. But, and as I say, it's the same mantra I took in sports. Like when I started playing sports, I was not the most talented. I usually tell people talent is cheap. Talent is everywhere. It's what really defines you. It's your hard work and consistency. So for me, the same hard work and consistency I put in my rugby, to make me into to play in the international level, be amongst the best, compete in the Olympics and everything. I was like, when I started, I was not talented. I just decided this is what I want to do, and I put all my heart into it. And that's the same thing I did in food. In food, I was like, I don't know how to cook, but if I do this each and every other day, even at some point, the devil that's holding me back will get tired. He'll be like,
like, this guy is doing too much. Let him go.
This guy is too much. Go, be successful. Be successful. I am done with you. So I kept trying, and then at some point, just like it's like riding a bicycle. It's hard, but something clicks. You never know when it clicks, but you find yourself now. Instead of now being a copy artist, I was starting copying recipes, watching Gordon Ramsay. Then you become an artist in your own way. You develop your own style of cooking. It kind of suits your environment, your culture. And that's how I grew. And I think for me, the what really helped me much is I stopped following recipes quite early in my journey, because usually people who usually try to learn to cook, they're like, okay, send me a recipe
online.
I'm like, if I give you a recipe, it's like a musician. If you're used to people writing you lyrics, when it comes for you now, you have to sing your own music. You'll struggle if people have been writing music for you your entire life. So at least when you're starting, it's good. Follow recipes, but
after a while,
you need to win off it. Yes, you'll still be following recipes, but use the recipes as a guide. It's not like the 10 Commandments. It's just as a guide. Like, lots of things are dynamic in the kitchen, depending whether you're in Africa or wherever. Because if I tell you, maybe cook your steak for, let's say, 2 minutes one side, the pan that I am using and the pan you're using are totally different. My gas burner, how it burns, my medium low, medium high, and yours are different. So you have to be able to cook by your senses. That's what I tell people. Use your eyes, ears, nose, and tongue to cook. Like, you should be able to tell these onions are almost done by how they smell, how they are crackling. And that's the easiest way to cook, and I think a more fun way to cook, because then you find yourself, even if you're having chicken, you won't have the same chicken. You can have chicken the entire week, but you won't have the same chicken the entire week. Even if it's the same recipe you're following, but if you keep on doing, you know how to turn and make it a bit different than
the flavor.
How I had it yesterday. And I think that's what actually sort of made me a bit successful. It's just hard work, consistency, and a skill that I learned in sports as well. Like, your ability to learn things quickly is important, but the most crucial skill that people don't know is your ability to unlearn. That is one thing that people should be able, even in life, your ability to learn, everyone can learn, but not many people are willing to unlearn and learn new stuff.
Wow.
That is the hardest thing.
Wow. Now, do you remember the first video that really...
Yep, that I do remember. Yeah.
What video was it? What were you cooking, and what did you see that just shocked you?
And that video actually has a backstory to it, because it was a brand campaign. I was just starting, influencer marketing was not that big way on. So I just got my first gig. It was a wheat flour brand. So I made some naan and chicken curry, and then I usually like distributing it to the people in the streets, because that's another story to another day.
We're going to talk about that one. Yeah.
So I edited the video. I sent it for approval. They sent it back. They said, no, we don't like it. They try and put subtitles. I was like, no, this is how I do my videos. This is my style now. They were like, no. I was like, okay, we'll do another one. Let me just post it without any brand or anything. I'll just post it as my own, because I like it. I post the video, and then I went to bed. I woke up tomorrow. I was like, wow, this thing is blowing up everywhere, especially on TikTok. And then I slept. I was like, it was a few hours to 400K. I was like, it's going to calm down. I slept. I woke up tomorrow. In one day, it was around 10 million.
Wow.
I was like, oh, shit. I'm sleeping on a gold mine over here. So I was like, and then I was like, this now is going to be my style of videos. Because how I started, actually before making videos, I was very shy. When I was still a sportsman, you might think, we play in these arenas, everything. I was very shy. I couldn't speak on camera or anything like that. So I started with a food blog. I had a food blog. It was called Women Should Cook. Not women, but we men. Yeah, women should cook. So I stopped blogging. I was like, anyway, I don't even like blogging. I don't like telling too many. I like getting straight to the point. Yeah. So I was like, let me now focus more on making videos. And then it hit me that actually I don't have the skill of making videos. I don't know how to edit. I was like, same way you taught yourself how to cook, go on YouTube again. I went on YouTube, taught myself how to edit and everything. Yeah, and then the video started getting better and better, and I was doing everything on the phone. Up to today, I still shoot and edit on the phone. I haven't innovated. Only the phone just keeps getting better. Yeah, so yeah, that's how the journey started. That one video, I will say. Yeah, but before the video, because many people usually go back to that video, I had a couple of others on IG that I don't think they exist there anymore. But I was posting little by little on IG, Twitter, because I still hadn't made up my mind. Because I was a sportsman, I was still cooking, I had a passion in carpentry. I love being a butcher. You know, I used to buy a whole or half a cow and they just butcher it into portions. Like that, those were my passions, but I just didn't know which avenue now to focus on. So even how the name The Roaming Chef started, it's not the name of my page. It was the name of my business, because once I was quitting rugby, I was like, well, what other skill can I use outside here to make money? So I used to move from house to house. People used to hire me, and then I cook for them, parties, birthdays, and everything. So that's how The Roaming Chef came up to be. And then I was like, oh, okay, I like it. I'm meeting new friends. It's challenging, but it's not making me enough money that I wanted. I need to find something else. So I was like, what else can I do? Okay, I still can cook. Let me make sauces. So I used to make chili sauces, curries, sell them. They used to sell out even before I make the next batch.
Finished. People have already ordered.
But again, I was like, I'm not good at business. Like the cooking, I enjoyed it, and the packaging. But after that, the distribution, the marketing, not even the distribution, just dealing with this border, people. I was like, what? This is not, but this is too much headache, and it's not making me enough money. It's making money, but not enough money that I want. What else can I do? And then while I was, so when COVID hit, so that's when, and then our contracts now, the sports rugby contracts, they were terminated. So I was like, okay, now I'm back to zero. What do I do? And then I was bored. I was like, as I think, let me go to the carpenter's shop. As I think, because when I was making the sauces on the balcony, I used to take videos of it and show people, okay, this and it. And people, I noticed people actually like the view outside here. They are surprised, how are you cooking on a balcony? Because over here, you know, the balcony is just for smoking weed.
Smoke, drink.
Exactly.
Look outside the window.
That's the work of the balcony.
Walking down there.
So I was like, and then, because I was cooking the chilies, and then the kid was, I had my firstborn, my son was around 4 months. He was sneezing, and then my wife was like, yo, he said you look for somewhere else to cook these chilies, or you pack and go. we can't be sneezing the entire night because you're cooking chilies over here. So that's how I actually moved to the balcony. I was chasing the balcony from inside the house.
Shout out to the missus, man.
She was like, yo, you either found somewhere else.
Going to work.
My kid can't be sneezing. We are not sleeping. You know, the kid is crying. Even myself, I'm sneezing, waking up the kids. Then I was like, now what do I do? Let me go and try and cook on the balcony. So I was cooking on the balcony. I was doing a few videos. And then guys liked it. And I was like, since I want to take this videography thing seriously, I need a proper setup. So what other skill do I have apart from cooking and rugby? I was like, I'm a good carpenter. You know, it's something that's always, it's not even a skill. Like I have this ability, you know, like whatever my hands can see, my hands can like replicate it. I learn easily, you know, skills. But books, I hate books. You give me books.
A lot of us don't.
And mathematics, how to count money. I hate that. But anything that deals with the work of my hands, I was blessed to be able to replicate. So I went to the workshop. I made the table I have outside there. It took me almost a month. I made the table, I made the chopping boards. Slowly, as I was figuring out like how I'm going to start, And then even like the first video that went viral, I didn't even shoot it on the balcony because the balcony didn't exist. A friend of mine gave me their backyard, and then I shot it, and then it went viral, and then I was like, oh, nice. But now I need something sustainable because I can't be moving
You
from
can't be
here,
going there every time.
carrying my pots,
No,
ingredients.
no,
It's
no.
too much. I need something that's at home. So I made the setup over there, and then just started shooting the videos over there. And slowly by slowly, I was like, actually, it was after that first video, I won't lie to people that it was a steady growth. It was just a boom. It went up. But
Facts.
yeah, because but also I put a lot of I was putting a lot of work in it. Like if you look at my first videos, even the editing, the voiceover was not there because I was not yet confident
with your
in my voice. So with time, the more I kept learning editing and everything, because I was like, okay, I'll do everything by myself. As much as I come from a team sport,
Yeah.
I understand like
Individuality
the
too,
the
impact.
limitations in a team. Like
You have to wait for others.
yeah, you might be the best, but there
are relying
are
on
people who
somebody
always
else.
dragging you behind. So I was
Facts.
like, yeah, if I have a crew, I want to wake up. I feel like shooting, I shoot. If I don't feel like, I don't feel like. If it's editing, I know I have a deadline. If I don't make it, I'm myself to blame. I'm only accountable to myself.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, let me try and be a one-man production now. So I
Incredible.
tried everything, and up to today, yes, I produce less work, but the quality, I think it's what it's up to me. Yeah, and that I think it's just hard work that I've seen me through.
Incredible, man.
I won't lie to people that I enjoy it. It reaches to a point it stops being enjoyable. Now it's all about hard
it's
work.
work now.
Yeah, now it's work. That's what I tell people. Once your hobby becomes work, you need to look for another hobby. Because for me,
Something to release the pressure.
Because when I was playing sports, cooking was releasing the pressure. But now cooking is giving me the pressure.
So what's the hobby now?
Yeah, I was
What's
like,
your hobby now?
golf. I'm not that good, but at least
it helps you.
it releases pressure. Because now once I get back to cooking, I'm like, oh shit.
It's work again.
I'm working to work again. But I enjoy it.
There's something you mentioned that I was about to ask you. If you are a fan of your page and you watch your videos, it's what completes every video. Where you decide that you're either taking the food to the public, public servants, security forces, charity workers. There's always a beautiful ending to your videos. What inspired that? And talk to me about that.
Yeah, to begin, especially the charity work. I don't even call it charity because for me, like
It should be normal.
yeah, it should be a thing if you have more than enough. Because I cook more than we can eat. So it doesn't make sense, staying with the food in the fridge, trying to. That's the greed they talk about in the Bible. So for me, I prefer now sharing it to the less fortunate, to homeless in the streets. Because at some point in my life, I also was a street kid. But not because I didn't have parents or we were struggling at home. It was by choice. Because I was in school. I just woke up one day. I was in Form 2. I was like, life is shit. Like, I need to try something else outside here. Let me run out of school. Let me try and go and live by myself.
Wow.
I don't like. I hate rules. I don't do really
want to
well.
live by my own rules.
Especially at boarding school, you it's like a cow. You are like cows. The bell rings in the morning. You wake up. You line up to go brush your teeth. Line up to go drink tea. Line up to go to school. Line up so people can check whether your clothes are clean. I'm like, why? Life is not supposed to be like this. I think those people living in the streets are having life better than me. So I ran away from school with I think I only had around 450 Kenyan shillings on me, which I spent on my first day. I finished everything, and I was in the streets for 1 week. I'm telling you, I suffered there. But what really saw me through was the camaraderie, the brotherhood I found over there. Like, these people, I just landed here. I just told you guys, I'm here with you, and all of a sudden,
They care about you.
yeah, how do you accept me in your society quicker than us outside here? We're not even tolerable to each other, even saying hi to each other. But the soon we joined there, like the first day I misused my money. So we used to sleep under these lorries, they were bringing fruits from Tanzania. So once the driver is asleep, we used to sleep under there because the engine is still warm, so it's still warm.
Gosh.
But once the drivers and the conductors are asleep, we come out, sneak out, go steal the mangoes, pineapples.
Just to survive.
Yeah, that was dinner. Yeah, until one day, I think that was day 7. One of the, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name because we never even knew each other's by names. We just knew each other. One asked me that, most of us, we are here because we don't have parents, or we are chased from home, or we have different circumstances. But you told us you just ran away from school. You have parents, your mom has a job, you have a home. What exactly are you doing here? Yeah, and that's when it hits me like, actually, I wish I was waiting for someone to ask me that I've suffered. I have suffered.
For somebody to say, okay, come back home.
I told him, hey, brother, I'm here. I wanted to be here, but I'm suffering. But I feel like I'm already too deep into this. Let me just try leave it out. He was like, no, call home. I was like, no, I'm afraid of my mama and papa. You know how African parents are.
You're in trouble.
He was like, don't worry, give me their number. So and that time it was this call booths. Phones were not there.
Coins. Yeah.
I didn't even have money. Those guys contributed, I think, 5 shillings. It reached around 15 bob, and then they were able to call my dad in absentia because they just wrote down my number. So I never knew they called my dad. So apparently my dad sent a search party in Nairobi. So for 2 days, people were looking for me. Then one day we used to go shower in a river. So we were going down to the river just to cool off and shower. And then going down, I'm seeing someone coming up looking like my uncle. I tried to hide, and he had already saw me. I was like, okay, I don't even want to, I'm hungry.
Take me home.
Buy me chicken first. So the first thing, he bought me a full chicken and a bag of chips. I was smelly as hell. I ate quickly, and then we went home, got me in a bathtub. I showered once. My mom told me, go shower again. I came out, looked at me, did something, or like this, did something, go shower again. So I showered 3 times. Then they took me back to school. And then I was like, now I think I started appreciating the little things. Yeah, we didn't have much, but I was like, there are people who are...
We still have a lot more.
Yeah, there are people who don't have anything, but for some reason, they were content and happier with life than me. I was like, then why was I sad about my life? Why did I want to run away from school and go live outside there in the streets? I have a family that loves me, so let me try and be myself. And that was a long time ago. So when I started now cooking, I started earning, I always, have a sweet spot for those people outside there in the streets. Like, it's a different world, and people really don't understand. They usually just assume that all of them are junkies, they are druggies. For me, I'm always like, I will never judge anyone who's living in the streets and they're using drugs.
Don't know
if you live in the streets, you will.
use drugs.
Give me 2 more weeks, I will be using those drugs. That life outside there was hard.
It's tough.
It was cold. And then you're running away from these city policemen every other day. Oh, like, my friend, if you are there, trust me, you will use drugs. So don't judge them. Just help where you can. So for me, I'm like, food is what I'm able to do. So I usually give them food. And then there are also a few of them that sometimes they are like, they have this special request at one is sick. So I'm like, organize how they can go to hospital. Okay, this one, we need a clothes, so I rally my friends. Okay, who has extra clothes you can give? Yeah, so for me, that's why I usually call them friends who became family, brothers who became family. So for me, even I walk there without food, we just sit down, have a chat. Sometimes these people don't even need material things from you. They just need also just your listening ear, just to listen to them. Yes, there's nothing much you can do, but the fact that you just sat down and listened, trust me, it means a lot to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. There was another part of your story that I wanted to touch before we round up, is you as an athlete. I saw somewhere where you said you underwent 43 major surgeries.
No, it's 5. It's 5 major... Five major surgeries. Yeah, yes. 5 major surgeries.
5 major surgeries. Major.
Yeah.
Due to sports.
Due to sports.
And in a way, because we as sports fans, we watch football players when they have injuries, and then boom, they go off for like 3-4 months rehabilitation, where they're saying, when is this guy going to come back and kick a ball? But we don't understand the physical and, most importantly, the mental impact of that. You've spoken publicly about mental health and how that has affected you. Talk to me about that world.
Yeah, mental health. Mental health is a wide spectrum that I think we'll need another day to discuss. But in terms of sports, for me it was, and the older you become, the more it starts to manifest. So for me, I think it started manifesting because I was diagnosed as bipolar a couple years ago, but it's something I grew up with. So even now, when I start looking back,
You would have seen
at my
symptoms.
stories, I'm like, okay, when I was depressed, I was like, I don't want to live this life. I want to go live in the streets. The
Those were
dots are starting to,
symptoms.
they are starting to connect. But now, when you join professional sports, that life it's a bit. It has it's basically sports. Life as a sportsman is basically you're living life as a junkie. Because sports has its lots of highs and lows. Highs and going high and low, it can mess you up if you're not mentally prepared or mentally strong. Yeah, so I was unfortunate enough. I had plenty of injuries. Like I've had 2 knee surgeries, broken my collar, my shoulder, broken my leg. This bone was popping from here. Even from here up here now is a metal. But one thing I was good at was recovering and getting back to play. Because and I didn't realize earlier that bones healing and muscles healing, they will always heal with time. And those are the things that you mainly people, the physiotherapist, the coach, they put effort on it, on the doctors. But then we forgot, like, every other time you go under the knife or every other time you go through a situation, it leaves a scar in your brain that we sort of try and just cover it up and move on with life. Okay, I'm well, I'm faster, I'm stronger than before, let's do it again. You get injured and then it keeps on piling up. And then that's when you find sportsmen most of the time, even like when I started playing rugby, I never used to drink. But the more you get into it, it's also part of the culture of the sport. You find yourself now starting to drink. First of all, you start drinking. It's as fun. It's fun, smoking a few weed here and there just for fun. But then now, the older you become, the more responsibilities. Let's say you're injured. Now you're incapacitated at home. 6 months recovery, like 2 months you're in bed. So you have nothing else to do. And then, so that's when you realize, okay, mentally, you have never been coached on how to handle such situation. Like for you, you're just a trained, like an athlete is a trained machine. You're only useful when you're fit. So when you find yourself incapacitated, even you just can't help but feel useless. Like, okay, there's nothing I can do. What else can I do here? Let me just drink. And so like it took a lot of toll in me, of which I kind of navigated well until it reached a breaking point. There was, and then I had it reached a breaking point. This was before I was diagnosed. So before I was diagnosed, I had my first attempt on suicide. And that's where now Kevin and Jimani, they took me to a psychiatric facility. I was admitted for 2 weeks. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And then so they ran a test with everything. They told me, okay, you have bipolar. Actually, before the psychiatric, we went to see a different doctor. The doctor just looked at me and I was like, this guy's depressed. Gave me some sleeping pills, some medication. So the medication that I was given is what actually now made the condition worse. And then I ended up almost taking my life. Then I was taken out of a proper institution. And then when I met the psychiatrist there, told me the meds that you were given were making your situation worse because you are given antidepressants. And you're not depressed, you have bipolar. You're swinging between depression, manic. Yeah, so we changed the drugs. And then, life started feeling better. I thought, okay, I'm healed. I stopped taking drugs. I had my second suicide attempt. I went back. Yeah, and that's why I tell people, like, mental health is not a destination. Don't chase the destination. It's a journey, and it's quite an easy journey once you accept the journey that you're not going anywhere. It's a journey you'll walk with all your life. Yeah, absolutely. It's like riding a bike. If you pedal, no matter slowly or fast, you'll keep moving. But the moment you stop pedaling, the bike falls. Yeah, so I accepted it, and life sort of started becoming easier. I was like, I wish I was diagnosed early on in my life, because I feel like I would have done a lot of things, because I feel it also affected my career as an athlete, despite the successes I have. But also, maybe it also made me the person
absolutely
I am. Yeah, I never
contributed
knew.
to
So yeah,
you finding yourself.
like everything for me is a blessing, because all this creativity, I usually say that maybe it comes with the package.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, and most importantly, you're a dad. You're a family
The
man.
most beautiful thing.
The best job in the whole world. You mentioned, when you were young, you could wake up at midday, hangover. But when you got kids, they wake you up at 6 a.m. Talk to me about being a dad and how that is.
Being a dad changes. I will say it's the most beautiful thing ever. It changed my life. It changed a lot of things. From just how you look at simple things, like how I look at finances started changing. Now it's not I'm not living life for myself. Now there's someone dependent on me. Whether you like it or not, you have to save.
Facts.
You have no option. You won't say, I'll save, let me eat this, I'll save. No. Kids are here, you have to save. These kids can wake up in the middle of the night, they're sick, you always need to have something. So kids, and then they make you more understanding. The moment you see someone just like you, and then the kids struggle to do almost everything. So they make you, a bit patient. I believe they make you a better person, and it translates to real life. You're even more patient to people outside there. So I think, and that's why even everywhere you interact outside there, interactions with, when you're, let's say, a mother is serving you somewhere in an office, and someone who's not, there's usually a difference. Not being discriminative, but there's usually
somebody who's raising a child.
There's that nurturing spirit, that you have in you. So kids, they change a lot. They toned me down. They made me quit alcohol. Going out, I started focusing, being more consistent in my work. Because now I'm like, okay, I have people dependent on me. It's not like when I was young, I was like, today I'll do a video. I don't feel like doing a video this month. This month, let's just party. Now, whether you like it or not, you have to be consistent. Yeah, because you need to keep earning. Yeah, so kids, they do bring a lot. They challenge you. There are some things you will hate. There are some habits inside you. You'll start looking at them in your kids, and then you're like, why? No wonder people didn't like that in me. I also don't like that.
Absolutely. You see yourself in your child, and then you find out what people dealt with.
I think that's the harshest reality in life. Once you start seeing yourself in your child.
Absolutely.
That's when you ask yourself, wow, am I really the person that I would want my child to be? Now you start correcting the things in you in your child, which is tough.
Now,
and then you realize that the kids, they sort of do more of what they see, not what you tell them. These people, you'll shout at them the entire day, they'll do the same thing.
They don't change.
Tomorrow.
No.
If they see you doing something different that like you want them to do, that's when they will act.
Now, you've cooked for everybody. You had all sorts of celebrities, athletes, incredible people to judge your food. Every time when I see your son being the judge, I'm more interested in his reaction.
That's my harshest food. Kids are honest. My son there sometimes, he take a bite, look at him, I don't like it. I'm like, I took 12 hours. This thing has been marinating the entire night. I cooked it now. I don't like it. I'm like, it's okay. Kids are brutally honest.
They're brutally honest.
Actually, they make me a better cook, because I know once my kids likes it, everyone else will love it.
Absolutely. we saw the video. Finally, the video with Davido went viral. Talk to me about making food for him, even linking up. How did that come about?
It was. Oh, that was it's an interesting story, because people just think that Davido came and we linked up. Actually, before we linked up 2 years prior, we were chatting in the DMs. Davido was like, I would like to taste your food. It's Chioma who introduced my videos to Davido. And then Davido was like, my wife likes your food. I would like to taste your food. Davido had I think, come to Kenya a year before.
Yeah.
So I was like, anyway, don't worry. When you come to Kenya, just hit me up. So we were talking, and then we went silent for almost a year or 2 years. And then I didn't know he was coming. So he messaged me. He was like, yo, I'll be in Uganda, but I'll be coming to Kenya to perform, but it's for a short period of time because I'm landing in the afternoon, and then we have the performance in the evening, and then they'll be leaving before tomorrow morning. So I was like, don't worry, I'll figure out how I'll fit you in. So I woke up early. Hey, that day I think I cooked almost 12 dishes. Yeah, so Davido landed. He went to the hotel. I told him, okay, this is where we live. I went, picked him. We came home, and I think what shocked me, and it's and I don't know if it's all, but I think it's just Davido, the personality. He's a very easygoing person because, like, he came home, he was more focused on playing with the kids, the family, than the food. Yo, I came here because I'm cooking for you. Let's go finish what we are doing outside here. You can spend time with your family or however you want. Yeah, so we went outside, we ate. Hey, he loved almost everything. So for me, I was like, my job here is done. I wanted him to have a Kenyan experience, have Kenyan cuisine. But I think he enjoyed more spending just quality time, the same way we are talking here, getting to know each other, talking about life, travel. You tell me, he's used to travel. I'm like, me, if I travel once, need to sleep 3 days before you see me again. It's like, if you're an artist, you get used to this. Facts. Yeah, it was a nice experience, and I thank him for coming, because I always have the idea of I want to host a few icons on my balcony, but I never really kicked off the project. So when Davido came, I was like, let this be the first. Let me start with Davido. So Davido came. Davido was the first one, and then nowadays it's not something now I do regularly.
I've seen
host
sprinting champions.
Exactly. Artists, BN, and everyone. Yeah. So Davido opened the doors, and up to now we still chat. We're still trying to plan how we'll do something maybe in Nigeria, because I would like to also go to Nigeria and cook with them. With the family over there. All in all, he's a good person, and I think people really don't get to know their favorite artists on a personal level. On a personal level, they are just human beings like me and you, going through the same problems me and you go. So yeah, it was really nice. And after hosting Davido, I'm like, there's no one bigger. There's no one who will be able to intimidate me,
Now you can be engaged with anybody as well.
Yeah, maybe amazing. Obama, because I always wanted to cook for Obama. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Guaranteed.
It's going to happen. Everything is going to happen.
Before I ask you just to drop a message for younger people to give them inspiration, I just wanted to give you your flowers, my brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I came in contact with your content like 4 years ago. I've been
Thank you so
an
much.
avid follower. I'm one of those that once your video drops,
I have a lot of fans in West Africa. I need to do a tour of West Africa.
West Africa. You have to come to Europe. You have to come to London. That's where I'm based. That's like, your video touches a lot of us around the world.
Thank you so much.
And not only your style, no, that is done.
It's about, I usually tell people, it's about the message. Like for me, everyone can cook. That's why I was like, so I give you a show you how to cook chicken, then what? I'd rather show you how to cook chicken than at the end of it, tell you something about life, something about advocate for good governance,
Cooking in the safari.
Exactly.
Showing us the Maasai.
Because for me, cooking is about storytelling. For me, how I approach cooking, recipes, you can find them everywhere. Recipes are everywhere. But for me, I approach cooking, I use food as a vessel to tell stories of people. So if I'm in Russia, I'll try and show them, okay, this is the cuisine, this is how these people live, this is how they fish. If I'm in Masai Mara, okay, this is the Maasai, this is how they do. Even if I'm in my balcony, I'll cook. Maybe at the end, I'll have maybe a guest who's maybe fighting against gender-based violence, some youth champion, someone with disability. Because for me, if my content only
Was about
helps
food.
me, yeah. It's only about food. Helps me, just brings me money, then that doesn't balance off the scales of society. Because the power that I have comes from the people who follow me. The influence I have comes from the people. So I am taking from the people. What else am I giving back? If you are just taking, then that's the problem we have in society. People will just take, and very many people taking and very few people giving. So I was like, even my work of line of work I'm doing, yes, it's earning me money, but there has to be ways and means, I can give back to society. Even if it's trying to feed the homeless, telling stories of people disadvantaged, bringing your favorite artist onto you, just giving them a human touch and stuff like that. Cooking is not just about filling the belly. It's all about, it should nourish the soul, the mind, For me, cooking, I say it's wholesome. It's not just about cooking. And if you just want to all about cooking, there are lots of other shows, you can go watch. Yeah.
And what would be your final message to any young person across Africa, around the world, that's hoping to do something and start something, but don't know where to find the energy and the power to do it?
For me, my message to young people, and I think this is something I believe I wish someone also told me when I was still young. It also depends how young you are. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. When you are young, that's the time to make mistakes. We will forgive you. The world will forgive you. But it reaches a certain age where mistakes now become punishable. If you didn't make those mistakes while you are young, you'll find it a bit harder to navigate life when you have more responsibilities. The world expects more of you. So that's why for me, when I see these young people, messing up here and there, for me, I'm like, it's okay as long as you learn from your mistakes. Also, making mistakes and not learning from them is one thing. Yeah. So you should be able to make lots of mistakes while you are young. Try lots of stuff. You never know where your destiny lies. Because for me, if I was like, okay, I'm done with sports, what else? Should I go in university? I did economics. Do I go do a paper pusher? No, I don't want. I don't like that. I wanted to try something else. So even the passion that I have, managed to win the TikTok Top Creator Award in Africa.
Which is an incredible award.
Yeah, everything is self-taught. So don't be afraid to make mistakes and try different skills, because I think where the world is moving, we are moving in such an uncertain direction with AI and what. I don't think it's also like quite appropriate not to put all your eggs in one basket.
Facts.
Yeah, because for me, and it's the same advice like I usually, and then the last thing I usually tell people is prefer work with short-term goals. Because if someone told me, roaming chef, where are you going to be in the next 5-10 years? I'll tell them, the last 5 years ago, if you told me where I wanted to be, this is not where I wanted to be. I never knew where I had somewhere I wanted to be. Maybe this is better or not better, but where you'll end up is determined by the things you make on a daily basis. So the best advice in life is short-term goals over long-term goals. Progress over perfection. Wake up today, be a better person than you were yesterday. Whatever skill you're doing today, make sure tomorrow you are even 0.1% better than you were yesterday. Now, those short-term goals are what will lead you to your long-term goals. And this is life. No one knows where in 5 years will be. But if you put the hard work and consistency every other day, tick the small boxes, in 5 years, you will be surprised where you'll be. You will not be where... Basically, if you're improving 1% every day, ideally in 5 years, you won't be where you are.
Absolutely.
But if you're just every year, new year,
New
these
goals,
are my goals.
And you don't do nothing.
Put them in the drawer, you don't do nothing. End of year, you will still be where you are. You would rather have 0 goals, but only have the goal of self-improvement. Then you'll reach far in life.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers in the room, please make some noise for the inspirational Dennis Ombachi.
Thank you for having me.
My brother, thank you for the conversation.
No worries. Easy.
I knew that I was making the right decision.
You're listening to Adeshokbe Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Right.